Okay, I think we'll get started here. We got a couple minutes after the hour, so let's get started. Welcome everyone. Good morning. This session is going to be um, kind of a open discussion about best practices. We're going to walk through some of the templates. We kind of would like to know what's working well for you all, what's not working well, what tools you're currently using to produce branded materials. And then, if you have suggestions or things you'd like to see coming up, I think one of our big plans moving forward is to offer a lot more diversity in the templates that we offer. And we need to hear from you guys so we know what you're using, what you think's missing, and what's working well. So that's going to be kind of the focus of this. You can either come off mute and raise your hand anytime during this session, or you can put questions or things in the chat. And James Berger, who is also on this call, the director of Marcom, will be kind of monitoring it, and we'll interject and we'll kind of answer the questions together. So with that said, let's get started here. I think the first place to start is talking about which templates do we use. I mean, we have letterhead, we have the PowerPoint templates, and there's two of those. I've gotten some feedback on those for improvement already. And then we have the Zoom static templates. So we'll just kind of walk through these. A lot of it, so it's Word, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and the Zoom templates are not editable. So that's another thing we should talk about. Would it be helpful to have those in a different format for you guys, that you could drop in a different photo, a different logo, etc. Flyers and email. I've seen the flyer on the left used quite a bit, and these are both in Word format as well. I haven't seen very many folks using the one with the white background. So again, another topic for discussion. Is that something you'd like to see a little bit more diversity in? I see a lot of flyers being attached to emails. So I would like to offer some more diverse options here for sure. And then, of course, the email signature, that's also in Word format. If there's another format that would be easy, I think we chose Word because it's easy to copy and paste into Outlook and have it maintain the formatting, which is very important, of course, with this. So if there's other suggestions or other things you're using, we'd like to know about it. Signage and social media templates. The signage templates, one is in Word and one is in Photoshop. And I don't know, it's another thing we need to talk about. Tools that you're all using. What are any of you using Photoshop? Do you not have access to it? Is there a better format for these types of templates moving forward? Same with social media. Is it something that you're using? Is there a different format we can provide for you? And then the tools you're using. I think this is, I think we're kind of all over the board on this. I think a lot of you use Canva, but mostly it's probably Microsoft tools like Word, Publisher, and PowerPoint. I think a few of us have access to the Adobe Creative Suite and Adobe Express, which those provide templates as well. So let's talk about that. What are you all using? What's going to be beneficial moving forward? Ed says he's got Photoshop, but he doesn't use it, and uses Illustrator mostly. That's good to know. Just a quick poll. Let's see how many attendees we have. We have 29 people. I don't know if you can just put this in the chat, but how many of you have access to the Adobe Creative Suite tools like Photoshop and Illustrator and Adobe Express? I think maybe, James, what we should do is we'll send out an email poll after this session and ask a lot of these questions rather than us just sit here and type things in the chat. I think that's probably a better way to address this. It would be really good to know what tools we're using so we can provide templates in various formats. So if we need to provide a letterhead format in Word, PowerPoint, and Illustrator, I think we can do that. We just need to know what you all are using. Another thing we're looking into right now is having an enterprise version of Canva for the university, and that would allow us to all work within a branded environment and have logos and tools and color palettes and fonts already set for us, so we could go in and create other templates on our own, and they would all be branded properly, and we wouldn't even really have to worry or think about that. So the poll will ask you how many of you are using Canva. If it's beneficial and we see that there's a lot of people using it, I think we'll kind of move forward with IT and see what it takes to do that. But that's just something on the agenda. And then I just wanted to go through some of these other beautiful branding submissions that have won in the past. There are some winners on this call, and the hope was to have some of those folks that have won. I know I saw Ed and I saw Janet. I know they are past winners, but just look at some of these samples and have them talk about, you know, what is working well for them, what kind of templates and things that they're using. Are they creating things from scratch? Are they starting with what we've provided? And then maybe what's missing? What are we not providing that would be beneficial? So if any of you are on the call and would like to share, I know Janet, you said you would be willing to share kind of some of your best practices and where you start. Would you like to talk a little bit about that, Janet?
Yeah. So for me, I do tend to start from scratch, from like a blank template. And at first I was using Adobe Express. I really liked it because in some ways it did give us a little bit more options about how to format it, how to move it, and picture-wise and everything. But then I moved back to Canva because Canva, in a way, it's easier to use for everybody, whether you're tech savvy or not. I find that Adobe Express was a little bit more, you had to know a little bit more about how to move the tools, how to adjust things like that. So for me it was okay, but then I wanted the flyers to be used for everybody in our office. So I created a Canva CC account for everybody to use, and it was much easier to use. Adobe Express wouldn't let me link a website, I believe, to convert it to a PDF. Maybe I didn't know how to use it, but I found that I wanted to be able to link stuff within my flyer, and then it wouldn't let me compare to Canva. So for Canva, I'm really back to, loving it again, because I used Canva, moved to Express, and moved to Canva again. And yes, it only lets us create a brand, but it only lets us have 3 colors or something like that. It doesn't let you do the font or a logo or anything like that, which Express did. So I already had my Open Sans, my fonts right there, my colors, all the colors, the gray, the gold, like the tannish one as well too. So that's the thing. If we were to have like the Canva, the premium account or something, it will be easier for everybody just to load everything right there, because that one makes my flyer creation so much easier, because I just have the blank, I go to my brand colors, and at least I have the blue and the gold right there. I could already start inputting the colors and then thinking, okay, the gold doesn't stand out so much, maybe I have to use the blue or things like that. But having already the color set up right there, it makes the whole creating flyer so much easier.
Yeah, all great points. I know that, you know, the single version, the non-paid version of Canva, you're right. I think it only lets you add 2 colors, and it's very kind of minimal. But the enterprise version would allow us to basically input all the colors, including the secondary colors, all of the logos. And so everyone would start, you know, in a branded environment with all of these things available for them, as well as additional templates. So
exactly, yeah. And then I also really liked that we were given a lot of logos with our CC, because sometimes you could use the square one, it matches good your flyer, but sometimes you need that long one because it looks better. So I think that was really helpful, having at least 3 options or something like that, in different colors as well too, because then it matches your flyer instead of being like just a random blue in the middle of the gold or things like that. Because I did notice that on social media, students tend to like prettier flyers compared to like just like basic templates. because when I used to post basic templates just with one color or things like that, students wouldn't really like the social media post or will just like scroll past it. So that's why give it more options with the logos, with the colors, things like that. Students tend to pay more attention to them. So having different logos definitely helps with the creating the flyers and then making sure we staying on brand as well too.
Great. Thanks for the
And I
feedback.
think, yeah, and definitely I think downloading the fonts right away, it's helpful because if you do it like, oh, let me just download Open Sans, and then later you want to use the Oswald, I forget the names of the fonts, but like that heading one, you have to go through the whole process of downloading and making sure it's in Microsoft Office or in your Canva account or in your Express. So if we download all the fonts at once, that makes it easier just to get the different fonts once you're creating the flyers.
Yep, great point. James, do we have other questions in the chat or comments? You're on mute, I think.
Just a lot of Canva users out there. Ed's brought up some good points about some restrictions on the ability to reproduce Canva graphics at high production value. Although I'll let Ed speak to it if he wants to add more, but we might want to check those that capacity going forward.
Yeah, I think the paid version of Canva gives you a lot more leeway on export. I also think it matters on how you set the file up in Canva. I think if you set it up as a large, at 100% scale, it's okay, and you can export it large enough. But I think, again, there are limitations to the non-paid version as far as how large you can create the file.
Rebecca did mention that she has a yearly upgrade, so I'd be curious in the chat or otherwise if they're seeing differences in that. But yeah, that we can definitely look at that. And I'd be curious if people would like to get more training on some of those technical aspects.
We can definitely provide training as well. Mary Coder, who is a brand ambassador, has already done a presentation on Canva, and she's very adept to that and is an expert in Canva and loves it. And so, yeah, we could definitely provide a training. So it seems like quite a few of you are using Canva, which is great because I think we can also use Canva as a training tool. As Jeanette said, the logos, there's I think 40 plus versions of any particular unit or school logo. So some are single color for a dark background, some are full color for a light background. There's many versions. So we could actually use Canva as a training tool. Say, this block of logos is only for light background. This block of logos is only for dark background, etc. So I think it would be good. I guess what I'm hearing from most of the group is that a lot of you are using Canva. It would probably be worthwhile to at least have a conversation with IT about what it would take to get a campus-wide version, or at least maybe a brand ambassador version for X number of users. I think we're right around 80 users for the brand ambassador. So I think that would make sense. Anyone else that's won the brand contest that would like to share, what's working well for them, how they work, what tools they're using, etc. I think Christina said she might share if she was on. Is she on?
I'm on. I think mostly also I've used Canva, similar to Janet. I think she mentioned being able to upload like our colors in there. That's super helpful. I've been super busy lately, so haven't had the chance or opportunity to create anything new lately. But I think a Canva training would definitely be beneficial.
Okay, excellent. And Ed, you have a lot of exposure to the students. So what are the students using? Are they all using Canva as well? Or are they using multiple things?
Most of them are using Canva. In some cases, they just come to me with basic sketches of what they need for their posters, and I help them with the software that I have in here. We just purchased a plotter that has not been installed yet, and we have computers ready to go that we will have like a little mini media center in here that the clubs can use for printing out materials. And I'll make sure that Canva is on that, as well as the Adobe Suite.
Oh, that's great. Very cool. Anyone else? Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be a winner of the contest, but would anyone else like to share maybe what's working? I mean, of the templates that are out there, are there any that are just frustrating to use? I know, Ed, you and I have talked about PowerPoint, and we'll continue that discussion one-on-one, but I've had a couple of comments about the PowerPoint templates specifically, so that's already on my radar. I'm going to fix those and probably provide some more. Anything else that is difficult to use?
I just have a quick question about Canva. Are all the images on there acceptable? They're public domain or royalty free or
Yes.
approved by the campus or anything like that?
Now, approved by the campus, I don't know. I know that there's no trademark violations with those,
Okay.
so you can use them freely. Yeah, but campus, I don't know. And I think if we go to an enterprise version, we'll have the ability to vet the images that are there.
Hi, Chris. This is Jasmine.
Hey, Jasmine, how are you?
Good, really good. Just wanted to give some feedback on the brand and how we've used it in our area. And then one difficulty we've had with one of the templates, which was the word file, the letterhead.
Perfect.
So we've used the brand, particularly in the Dean of Students, for promotional items. That's worked out really well. We recently ordered some new promo items, and we went through graphics. So they have a vendor there and worked really smoothly. We've also used it for any other type of material that we have, whether it's documentation, official forms, and so forth. So that's worked out pretty well as well. So thank you for that. And the difficulties that we've been seeing, or at least I've been seeing, is on the letterhead when we use it for more formal, like agreements or documentations. We've noticed that the word file with the letterhead sometimes is problematic when you're adding multiple pages, or the margins are off as well. So we've had that difficulty with that file. So we've had to kind of work with either the margins or change, customize everything else. That's my feedback. So thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. I've had the same issue with the multiple pages thing and the margins. It seems like, especially if you copy and paste into that file, it really just blows the margins out completely. You have to go in and edit them by hand every time. And I'm looking into a way to fix that. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Marta, you have your hand up. Hi.
Yes, hi. So I think it would be good to have some sort of training and maybe a handout or guide or something that we can share to coworkers. We don't, in my office, we don't use a lot of flyers, but there are times that we are asked, I need one by tomorrow. And so if we have templates that we can go to and just input information, it would be very, very helpful for people like us. Because sometimes it is hard to come up with the colors and the format and then trying to fit, all the information that you need on there. So it would be helpful to just have a template of something that you can modify and work with whatever event you need.
And what?
Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, some of the people that I work with here in the office are not familiar with Canva. And so it'll make it a lot easier for them. Sometimes we end up going to Word and getting something set up quickly on there that they can go back and edit. So I think this would be very helpful to be able to share with coworkers.
So Canva would be your vote as opposed to Word?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, me too. My findings have been that Microsoft Word is not a very graphic or layout friendly application. It's not made for that. And so anytime you want to try to move things around, it just ends up being, it takes a lot of time, and it's not really what that tool is designed for. So I think we need to look at other options, and maybe we can even get the letterhead onto Canva as well. I think that would be something that would be very beneficial and much easier to use.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you, Marta. Does anyone else have, let's see, there's something else in the chat here. Ed, you made a poster for Future Renter Day. Didn't make a layout. Okay. And that was in Illustrator, I'm assuming, Ed? Okay. I think not a lot of folks are going to be familiar with some of those advanced Adobe tools like Illustrator and Photoshop. But that doesn't mean that we can't, you know, have templates in those applications. I think if the need is there, we should try to provide that. So it's good to know that people are using that, because Ed, you know, you have a ton of control with those applications, and if you're familiar enough with them, they can be very powerful. But Canva, I think, for most beginning users and people that we just want to allow them to easily use things on campus and templates, I think it's so easy to use and very intuitive. So I think if we could provide maybe some of both, Canva and maybe some advanced tools, and try to get away from Microsoft Word for at least the layout and flyers and things like that. Marta, when you said, when you addressed training, were you talking specifically about Canva training or Microsoft Word, or what were you speaking to specifically there?
I would think more Canva.
Okay.
Getting more familiar with this, knowing where to go, where the templates are, where to find the colors that we need for the backgrounds, and, you know, manipulate text and that sort of thing.
Okay. Perfect. Does anyone else have anything to add, or any questions or suggested next steps? Like I said, we'll put together a poll, just a list of questions for the brand ambassador group, and send it out to the group, and that'll give us some great feedback on what you're using. You know, maybe there's things you're not even thinking about now, that some struggles you're having with other templates. It'd just be good to know all of that. We'll compile that information, share it with the group, and then kind of get a plan of attack based on that.
We got a hand up from Janet.
Oh, hi, Janet.
Hi, I just wanted to add to like just little shortcuts when creating, especially in flyers. I definitely have the visual identity webpage bookmarked, because sometimes by now I would think like I'll memorize the numbers for blue, but every time it's like, what is it? 48, 118.
Mm-hmm.
So just having the visual identity bookmarked on your website is really helpful. And I also created like a little paper post-it that I have the RGB numbers, because when you're going from different pages or website tools, marketing tools, it's like, okay, what's the blue? And you just put like the numbers that need to be inputted, then you get your color. So I think just having like that shortcut, it definitely helps when you're creating the flyers. That way it becomes a little bit easier, and not trying to find the color, because sometimes it disappears from Word or things like that. So just having that shortcut helps a lot.
Yeah, that's great. It's like almost like a little cheat sheet. I think the posters that we handed out to the brand ambassadors have some of that information, but yeah, maybe a little cheat sheet for everyone that has those types of things would be helpful. Thanks for that.
Ed says he has a cheat sheet by his monitor to go along with the brand ambassador posters.
Awesome. Let's see. Gracie says it'd be nice to address things like bleed needed for print shop production. Yeah, it's a great one. You know, Microsoft Word is never going to be the preferred application if you're going to print with something. It's not made for that. So you're gonna, and then if you're working with the print shop, they're typically going to ask you to include bleeds in whatever file you send to them. So a training session in Canva for that specifically, it would be great. So yeah, thanks Gracie for that. Yep, and specific sizes for printing. Yep. So it sounds like from the group, there's a big need for training. There's a big need for more templates And it seems like a Canva environment, a branded Canva environment would be a good deal. At least that's what I'm getting at this point. So that's all awesome feedback. Thank you guys so much. The only way to get better is to talk amongst ourselves. I mean, that's kind of what this program's about, is learning from your peers and talking through these things, and we can all learn from one another and address the issues as they come up. So really appreciate the feedback from everyone. I'm going to go through, I think, another slide, and that's we do need to announce the winner this month for the Brand Ambassador Program, and that's going to be Athena. Athena's been doing a lot of creative stuff since she's been here, and these are a couple of social media posts that she's done in the last month, using the colors, using Rowdy really well, and these are all for the Alumni Association. But so great job, Athena. We see you, we see the great work you're doing, so keep up the good work. She always comes to us with questions, which we love, and you know, a lot of you on this call do as well, so thanks for that, and keep up the good work. At this point, I think I'll open it up to the whole group for questions, if anybody else has anything. If not, we'll be sending out that poll soon, probably this week. I'll try to get to that this week, and we can all give each other our feedback, and then we'll share those results with everyone on the call and move forward with a plan. Anything else from the group before we wrap up? All right, then. Well, thanks everyone for your feedback, for your input. We'll get into phase 2 of the brand ambassadors soon and get you some more tools and some more templates. And we appreciate all your attention to detail. So thank you all very much. And we'll see you next time.